Geeks with issues. Ho! It's like Thundercats ho.
Oh, Thundercats! Oh, I've never really watched that.
I own the original cartoon run. I have older brothers who loved it, so that was kind of one of those things. Anyway, so that's a weird intro, but I'm Tom.
I'm Sam.
This is Geeks with Issues. Geeks with a Podcast.
Yep, Geeks with a Podcast. Issue number 2. And welcome, everyone. Oh, you can count. Ha, ha, ha.
Speaking of counting, you want to talk about the count on school shootings and where that actually comes from?
Yeah, so this will be a podcast about current events, and the most current events that have been occurring are these school shootings.
School shootings and politicalness and Olympics.
Yeah, school shootings, political, Olympics, you know, all the good stuff that happens in the winter. I mean, I guess people are more depressed in the winter, and I guess maybe that attributes to people wanting to shoot other people in the middle of the winter.
Yeah, that's not usually how that works. Usually winter's the season for more suicides than anything else.
Yeah, it's
apparently with global warming, we have screwed up that process as well.
Yes, now they want to shoot other people.
I don't know whether I should be happier or sadder, and it's just...
Well, see,
disturbing.
If you kill yourself, that's fine. Just kill yourself. These fuckers just don't kill themselves, though. That's the problem.
I mean, to be fair, don't actually kill yourself.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, if you're a school shooter, rather than killing the other schoolmates.
Yeah, if you are having serious thoughts about killing other people and then killing yourself, do yourself a favor and just kill yourself. But overall, if you're having thoughts about killing yourself, don't kill yourself.
Go see a specialist.
Yes, exactly. Like,
by the way,
we have issues.
Yeah, we have issues. By the way, there are professionals for this, and we pay them for good reasons.
Yes,
and you can, in fact, fix crazy.
Yes.
Or you can put them in a psych ward for the rest of their lives. Either way, that's a better answer than, killing people.
Yes, this nation has just gotten crazy, and
yeah.
We're apparently the only nation with these numbers that we're putting up there on the board. And as what was it? It is the site Easy World. I'm probably saying that wrong. Let me scroll up in my notes again real quick. Every town, not Easy World. I don't know where the fuck I got Easy World from, but every town. They reported on February 15th that there were 18 school shootings since January of this year. Just this year, 2018, and 18 school shootings. Which that number would be bumped up to 19 as of today.
At least 19.
Yes, in our home state of Ohio, a student of middle school shot himself and killed himself in the school. So at least... there's no... they haven't, at least last I heard, there weren't enough details to determine whether he was planning on killing people in the school, or if he had intent on just killing himself, or if it was just an accident. Considering the last shooting that took place, may have come to school just scared, bringing a gun, thinking, good guy with gun, I'll kill the bad guy. Yeah.
They found, like, smoke grenades or something with his stuff, though, too, so it's a little weird. I don't know. Again, don't know all the details because they haven't given them to us.
Maybe he thought it through at the last minute and was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do myself in.
Could have.
Hopefully that was his train of thought rather than I'm going to kill everybody else.
Right.
Either way, not a good train of thought.
No.
And... yeah, I don't know. I didn't have the greatest high school experience. I was picked on all the goddamn time.
Dude, me and Chad almost killed a kid for you.
Yeah, I was a depressed motherfucker. I was an emo kid pretty much, and wore the pants and everything. But I never had the thought of I'm gonna kill all these motherfuckers that I hate.
I think people thought I was that person. I'm almost certain that people thought I was that person.
You could be that person.
I could be. I still could be.
Yeah. Don't kill me, Tom.
No, never. I love you too much. If I didn't have you, who would I talk to right now? I'd be talking to the wall. Or Opie. Opie's over there.
Opie's always good to talk to. I talk to him a lot.
I mean, just like you, I was depressed in school. I mean, I guess maybe I covered it up better than most people because people really thought I had like this perfect life. And it was great because apparently I was really good at playing that role for everybody, and they all bought it.
Well, that's because your mom makes really good cookies.
This is true.
So you have to have a great life.
This is very true. I think the food comas that people were in, covered up most of the problems there. I mean, I had my share of bullies and whatnot. I don't know. Apparently, I also scared a lot of people. People were more afraid of me than Josh, which is weird at times. Like, come like the last few years of high school, people were more afraid of me than Josh. And I don't really understand why.
Josh is our buddy who was not like in saying it mean way or anything, but it was like the size of a goddamn gorilla.
Yeah, I mean, like he
Big man.
would have been perfect for the football team, except he just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, even he says that I think he tried in middle school or junior high. He tried, and then he was like, I just don't feel like doing this, and just stopped. But yeah, he's a big guy, and I don't know for whatever reason people will look at him like, oh, he's a teddy bear. Oh, that kid, he's scary.
Yeah, you're scary, Tom.
I'm very
You scare
scary.
me.
Yes,
A lot.
probably scarier now that I shaved.
Yeah,
my
I don't
beard.
know. And we probably have it differently because we were all dumb geeks. We were able to band together, and then we were fine in our own little mismatched bubble clique of whatever. Like,
Yeah,
we never
that's-
fit into anything. We just fit into, we're the mixed bag of everything that no one else wants.
Yeah, that
Hey,
was
how
a
you
weird
doing
group
today?
of friends.
Yeah.
A wide variety of people in there.
So I can't say how it would have been if I hadn't had you guys, but
Yeah.
I still never thought about bringing a gun to school. And like all these different cases, like no matter what, bringing a gun to school, who thinks about doing that? Even in these 19 reported cases now of school shootings, they're not all someone coming to just, oh, I'm going to kill a bunch of people. Like, one kid pulled a police officer's trigger in the school, and no one got
Shit.
hurt or anything, but, like, he just walked up to the officer and pulled the trigger.
That's crazy.
Like, who the fuck does that? But
Yeah.
that's the school shooting,
Yeah.
and that's how they're tallying it up,
Right.
which I can understand that.
Yeah.
Anything
Well,
that occurs, like a firearm discharge in or on property, that makes
Right.
sense for a school shooting.
Right.
It may not be a mass murder
No.
spree.
So, but that's the funny thing is there's 19 now, but I think it's like 6 or 7 of them, or 6 to 8 of them are legit serious. Not as serious as the 17 kids who just died, that being the worst of the cases, but they are legitimate, like real serious cases where it wasn't just like, oh, a gun went off and the bullet's in the ground. Like, we're talking like people actually got killed, or one or more people have gotten killed. And it's funny that oh my God, they're lying about the 18. Apparently 6, that's an okay number. 6 school shootings where people died, even if it was 1, that's okay because
Yeah.
it's not 18.
Yeah, I don't know. No matter what the number would be, I mean, 6 legitimate massacres or deaths caused
Yeah.
at these shootings, that's not acceptable
No,
at all.
it's not.
And no matter if you're a libtard or you're a far-right fucker, whatever the fuck you want to call either far-right or left side, something needs to be done. I don't care who you are, where you're at. Like,
Well,
something needs to change.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, you say, oh, things need to change, and then people get all scared, right? You're saying things need to change, and now they're suddenly like, oh, but my guns, America, I need my guns. What if the government comes for me? I need my guns. Let me tell you something. I don't know what an assault rifle is going to do if a tank rolls up to your house. Or how about the drone dropping the bomb from above? If the government's coming for you, the government's coming for you. It doesn't matter what type of guns you have.
You obviously haven't seen Rambo.
Yeah, I don't. Anyone who has a minigun is doing illegal shit anyways, and they're no longer the good guy with the gun anyhow.
Yeah, no, Rambo wasn't the good guy. He was mentally unstable.
Go figure.
Which, yeah, I mean, the gun laws, all that, it doesn't matter. The whole thing about protecting against the government, if they want what you got, they're going to get what they want.
They're gonna get it anyways.
Yeah, but, and that, in my mind, it just goes into a different scenario, different topics of, oh, could there actually be actual resistance against the government and all that? Yeah, maybe, in a
in
very
third world-
organized scale, but,
In third world countries, yes, you can organize. In a modern country, I don't see how you organize well enough unless you act incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Like before the government does anything, you're not going to be able to. And at that point, you're talking extreme radicals, and extreme radicals, no matter what side of the line they're on, are awful people, and you don't want them in charge.
Exactly.
I don't care if you're a liberal or you're conservative or whatever you are. It is bad news.
Yeah, but either way, the lone individual, whether the FBI, police, army, whatever comes knocking on your door, you got one gun against their multiple bodies. You're not gonna.
But then,
the chances of you coming out alive, it's not gonna be well.
even then, even if like one FBI agent shows up at your house and says, "I want your gun," or "We're taking your gun," and you shoot them, guess what? You're a murderer now. You are no longer a good guy, and your gun's going to be taken anyways, along with many other rights.
Oh yes, and so yeah, I don't know. There's definitely laws that I agree with for having guns, and there's definitely laws I don't agree with for having guns.
Well, there have been so many different laws. Like there was one point where NRA was actually working with the government, they'd be like, oh yeah, we're okay with this and we're okay with that. And then as soon as those laws would pass, they would like push to be like, oh well, be real easy on those. Let's not enforce those that hard. And so a lot of laws that were in place were being ignored. Trump just, months before this recent shooting, Trump had, as everything he's been doing, removing the Obama era rules and regulations and laws and things that he's been putting into place. He did an executive order to roll back the fact that the Social Security agency could tell the FBI or whoever, the other government agency involved, about you having a mental disorder and saying they shouldn't have a gun. They repealed that law. So when you say that crazy people shouldn't have guns, there's no longer a way to stop that from happening.
Yeah, and that's definitely not right. And it's already too lenient in the way that, at least here in Ohio, that people with actual issues can get guns. There is after you buy a gun, there's a 3-day wait period if there's any red flags that come up on your quick search, the quick search that they do in a database if you are going through a legitimate way of buying a gun. If you're going through some gun shows, they don't do that.
Well, that's another thing. I don't particularly... I get gun shows because just like any convention, you want to be around other nuts. I don't want to say gun nuts because that just doesn't strike well with me.
Yeah.
But you want to be around other people who are crazy about the same stuff that you're crazy about, and I get that. But buying and selling at those shows with firearms, I feel like that has always been a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and I can comment on my own experience there in a minute, but I don't know, it's just one of those things like if any delay comes up on your account, you get put on a 3-day delay, 3-day wait period. If the FBI does not respond in 3 days, it doesn't matter if they say no on the 4th day, that within 3 days you are allowed to sell that gun. And you could get the no, you're not allowed to sell that gun afterwards, but it was still a legal sale because you made it and the FBI did not respond to you.
Right.
There should be no, after 3 days you could just sell it. No, you have to wait for a goddamn answer from the FBI.
Yeah, one way or the other.
Like one way or the other. And so stupid, like if you're just really out there trying to push guns and make money, you could just sell all these guns to all these people if the FBI is too backlogged at that point in time.
Well, at that point, you could literally create the backlog if you were pushing guns. If you were pushing guns legally in that regard, and you get all these people to buy stuff, you put in so many requests that they become backlogged to the point where it's like they can't physically make it to all of those requests. Or they do make it to them and they approve it even though they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So one way or the other, it ends poorly.
And the quick thing I will say about my experience of being at gun shows is I have never been to a gun show in our local area that I have not seen a vendor doing a background check at. So I know some in Ohio now require, even though it's not law, if you are going to set up a merch table, you need to do background checks. So at least
that's good.
They're getting better about that. And as dumb as they are, I do understand them because guns are fucking expensive. You can go there and you can take a look at what you're actually looking to buy. And then you can't shoot them or anything there, but you can find the cheaper prices if you know what you're looking for, just like anything else. You can find a gold mine.
Conventions are great for that type of thing. So that's why I say I get it. I get why there are gun shows and things
me
like that.
Being a little, probably I sit a little more on the left. I see both sides of the house, but I sit a little more on the left, I would say, for sure. And yeah, I get uncomfortable about some of the people that I see at gun shows. It's like,
I'm very critical of gun owners and of the gun rights climate. But I do agree that people. Well, there's a few things. One, I do agree that people do have the right to own a gun. Okay, you have a right. You should have a pistol or a shotgun or a bolt action rifle, but you don't need an AR-15 or an M16 or a semi-auto assault rifle to go hunting.
Yes.
Anything beyond home defense and hunting, you don't need a gun for those.
But I need that AR-15 for my home defense.
Yeah, let me tell you what. Those hallways, not that big. All right? You're not living in a mansion where you need to be a sniper to shoot down the hallway.
I mean, you never know. No. Yeah, no, it's fucking retarded. I mean, my mentality is I don't even fucking like autoloader pistols. For anybody who doesn't know exactly what that is, that's anything that's not a revolver. Pretty much anything with a clip. I don't think anything outside of a revolver, at least for myself, is fucking practical. If I can't get it done in those 6 to 7 shots, I have no purpose holding that gun.
You should have spent more time at the gun range. Well, that's my thing. Is like people are like, oh, well, I use my AR-15 to hunt. Motherfucker, if you need 30 rounds to go hunting, you're a bad hunter and you should stop.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, me going backpacking, there's been times we have heard automatic fucking weaponry in the middle of Pennsylvania. Hiking through the middle of Pennsylvania, we're like, fuck, at least that's over that ridge. And there's been times where we're out and backpacking. I don't know if it's hunters or whatnot, or people just shooting guns, but I've had to yell like, hey, we're over here. Like, don't be shooting your gun all up over this direction.
Right. Well, you remember years ago when Dick Cheney shot his friend?
Yeah.
Like that's... and they were using shotguns. Mm-hmm. And he had all the safety gear he was supposed to have.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one of those things. Like, you need to be responsible. You need to take ownership of your things. It's just like when kids get a hold of their parents' weapons. You know, that's on the parent that's on the kid for whatever they do with it, but it's also on the parent for not securing their weapon like they're supposed to.
Yeah, no gun should ever be left unlocked. Like, yes, okay, get a safe if you need to, a quick unlock safe, one of those fingerprint IDs. You can have them for your bedside table, but that gun better be locked. That's my viewpoint.
Yeah.
If you don't have a gun safe in your house, you have no business having a gun in your house. And
right.
That's my viewpoint on it.
Yeah. I have no personal need or want to own a gun. I've walked through some shady areas in my life. I still have no interest in a gun. I generally carry a knife, and that's my preference. Again, I think other people deserve to have their right to own a gun, but I think there has to be. I mean, look at the Las Vegas shooter. They were talking about the bump stock and how we need to do something about these bump stocks. Where did that legislation go? It just vanished. Man. We talked about it for 2 weeks and then gone. Nothing.
Well, I mean, the Super Bowl was coming up.
Yes,
like everything, all the other really important shit in the media was coming up.
Yeah.
And
we
had to forget about the gun laws.
Yes. That's the thing. We want to make it, everyone should be able to get a gun. So we want to go back to the Wild Wild West where we can just have shootouts in the middle of the street. Like that's where we want to get back to, apparently.
Now, I got to tell you, like my vigilante justice, like, mindset wants to jump in there and say, fuck yeah, we do. But I know that's not the right thing to do.
That ends poorly. For
I want to be the Lone Ranger, but I would not.
Well, no. I mean, think about the old saying. Good. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. It just leaves everyone deaf, blind, and dumb.
And not able to eat if they took your tooth.
Yeah. I mean, you can eat mashed potatoes. It's not enough, but you can eat it.
Yeah,
you'd be mashing all your food.
Won't sustain me. But yeah, like as you said, like you don't have any desire or want to own a gun.
I've shot them though. I will say that I have shot guns and I did enjoy it. Just have no interest in buying one.
Yeah, it is oddly enjoyable. But like I definitely for myself have practical. I know I'm gonna need a gun for this situation one day because I'm gonna fucking go back to Alaska and I am gonna go into the fucking Arctic Circle. And, if you're getting up that close to near the gates of the Arctic and whatnot, there's polar bears. Polar bears actively hunt humans. I am not going anywhere near polar bear territory without a gun. Without a shotgun or,
personal defense.
Exactly.
Not an AR-15, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, definitely not an AR-15. A big gun. It would be a big gun because it's a polar bear. But not an AR-15. And most likely, it would be used to shoot in the air with such a big round to scare that motherfucker off. I am not going to shoot that bear
unless it charges you.
Yeah, exactly. Like unless it gets that close to me to where this needs to happen, I'm not going to shoot that bear.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
it's also an endangered species, and shooting it would be a felony for you, I believe.
Unless it would try to kill me.
Yeah. I suppose that it'd be just like the cops. You can prove that I was scared.
Exactly. Yeah, well, I mean, you'd be able to tell with the tracks and all that shit with the polar bear. I'm not going to be able to pick up a polar bear like, all right, let's walk his foot over here. Tom, get over here. You need to lift up the ass of this 2-ton animal.
We strap some sticks to its legs so we can just kind of walk with it.
Oh, this is going to be like a Swiss Army man.
Yeah.
Oh, so good, so good. But yeah, I mean... Unfortunately, we joke around about guns, but they're really not a joking matter.
No, when you're talking about mass shootings, it is not a joking matter. But at the same time, humor is what's gotten us this far in life, so that it is what we use.
We fall back to.
Yeah, we fall back to it in stressful situations or in uncomfortable things, and it's okay as long as you understand that that's what it is.
So we've established there's obvious situations where you should have a gun. It's okay to have a gun, and how do you address these school shootings? Do you do what the Republicans or maybe I'm not going to say Republicans, the right side of the House wants to do, and
Ignore it.
well, they.
I'm sorry. Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
Because those have
ignore
helped
it.
so much.
But I've also heard the idea thrown on the table of arm the teachers.
That's an absurd thing.
I think it's pretty absurd too.
It's absurd to do that, or to put police officers at every school, because they're like, oh, soft targets. So you need security, armed security at every school, every church, every mall. Every event in general.
Maybe that's not so foreign to me because our school had armed police officers at them.
A lot of schools have like 1 or 2 armed police officers. And that's more or less because as you get into high school, people, we were being more aggressive, and
we had
stuff
people
was going on.
We had people thrown through glass walls.
Yeah,
at our
we
school.
we did have that
multiple times.
Yes. So in those instances, you get to a point where we're going to put one or 2 police officers on site, and they're usually like closer to retirement anyway, so they're not really doing that much.
Yeah.
To be honest, I loved our officers; they were great. They would joke around with us, but they were also very serious.
Exactly.
But that's not the same as having a security force or arming the teachers. Also, if you have teachers with guns in the school, it doesn't stop a kid from getting the gun that's already in the school.
Yeah,
they don't even have to bring one; they're already there.
Yeah, that opens up more possibilities.
And there's
of
the
people
moral
getting
ground
guns.
to it of like a teacher snapping, or what happens if a teacher threatens a kid with the gun. Like there's so many bad things that come out of arming all of the teachers.
Yeah,
that it's not even.
We didn't go to
funny.
the best of school districts. We definitely saw some teachers flip out on kids
God, yes.
when they hit that right nerve.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I have seen some teachers flip shit.
Oh yeah.
And
I've also seen the teachers who were calm and collective enough to stop some of the fights and put kids into like chokeholds or arm locks and stuff to do it. And I'm like, that's a badass teacher. Not fucking with him.
Yep, never fucking with him. Yeah, so I don't know. It definitely to me isn't a bad idea to at least get one armed officer in every school. Like if your school can't afford that, your school needs to reimagine their budget. Anyway.
Yeah, but at the same time, the one that happened today was a middle school, and you're talking high schools. That makes sense to have security forces at a high school because you're talking older students who are generally going to get into rougher things. You're talking like a middle school with 7th to 8th grade kids. They might get rough, but they're also small enough that most teachers can break that up pretty easily.
Yeah, it's not as like. But then was it Sandy Hook that was the elementary school?
There's another one. I mean, that's you. Why do you need why would you need on a regular basis a police officer in that case?
You definitely wouldn't.
And I mean, yeah, you're paying to have that just in case mentality, but does that justify it? I mean, the lives are priceless. I get that, but at the same time, you can if you want to prepare for every shitty situation, you'll be preparing for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and I mean,
because we can come up with 100 what if situations just right here.
I'm sure. Yeah, and that's where I don't know. Me personally, like I'm a survivalist. I like those what if situations, and I plan for them. Like I don't know, I was a Boy Scout, so be prepared is always in my mindset.
Yeah, but you can only be prepared for so much.
Exactly. You can only be prepared for so much.
If a bomb's going to go off and they're like, Sam, we need you to disarm their bomb, how are you going to be prepared for that?
But with the statistics of within the first 2 months, first 2 months, and
well,
we have
this
19...
This has been a growing trend. This isn't anything... This trend has started probably back in with Columbine being our first big one that I know of, that I can think of at least.
Yeah, that's the first I can.
And it's been a growing trend since then. I think the last 3 years we've seen, maybe we could go 5 years, we've seen an exponential growth over time. And that's where things get scarier and scarier. We're very early on in the year, so who knows what happens, but it's a scary thought.
Oh, yeah. And there's, as you said, very early on in the year, so there's a lot to go, and this trend continues. I mean, obviously something needs to be done, but something's going to have to be done.
Oh, yeah.
18 within 2 months, I mean, that's almost 1 every 2 days.
Yeah.
So it's fucking crazy. I don't know anything else that happens on that. Well, actually, no, I do. Fucking alcohol. Drunk drivers kill all the time, but alcohol's still legal.
Yeah. But the thing is, we're also not talking about making guns illegal. We're talking about a subsection of guns making them illegal. And if you want to compare that to alcohol... you can only in the U.S. you can only buy alcohol up to a certain strength.
Yeah.
So
and a certain time in the day and all that.
Yeah. So there are regulations.
Very high regulations.
And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about regulating the guns, not eliminating them. And the reason I don't want to even come close to the idea of eliminating them is we're such a large country. It's almost impossible to eliminate them. If you're talking Australia, it's a much smaller population, a much smaller area. So eliminating guns in that country was much easier.
Yeah.
To do that in the U.S. would be damn near impossible, and I get that, and I understand that. And that's why I don't see a point of trying to eliminate guns, but you need to regulate them.
Yeah, I remember, at least from when I was in Germany, I went to a shooting range, and you're not allowed to have high-powered rifles like AR-15s and all that stuff. You can have sports rifles, but they are sports rifles.
Yeah.
They have, like, the wooden stocks. They're specific calibers, and you can't get the crazy shit.
Yeah. But again, you don't need it.
Yeah.
Like, you
No,
don't
you
need
definitely
the crazy
don't.
shit. Like, you don't need a grenade launcher. You don't need an RPG. You don't need a minigun. As a civilian, you don't need a semi-auto rifle. You just don't. You don't need a semi-automatic assault rifle.
Yeah, definitely need a semi-automatic, but not semi-automatic assault rifle that can be modified.
Yes. I mean,
have all your
there are
tactical...
semi-auto guns that are not assault rifles that are...
There's
they're
just
different.
too many people falling into this, I want to be tactical.
Yeah.
Like, everybody wants to be tactical and have this, oh, look at this gun. Look, I look like I'm a Marine now, which, yeah, no. Like, those Marines, they go through such fucking stressful situations to have to, like... gain a badass title like that, like
people,
people,
and then they come back and they're all kinds of messed up too.
Yeah, and
we don't bother to help.
And that's another side of it. Like, how many of these people who are doing these shootings are quote unquote mentally stable? Whatever mentally stable is defined as.
Well,
nowadays.
I think there's no way to be mentally stable and commit a mass shooting. I cannot comprehend someone to be mentally stable and do that.
Exactly. And so where I think I saw, and I can't quote it, so I don't want to, but a statistic where there was a certain number of these shooters who were on psychotropic drugs. Mm-hmm. And where is the regulation of those? And I mean, obviously, a patient can always be lying when they're telling their therapists they're taking them, but you really, like, I've been on them before, you really have to find that key sweet spot that does what it's supposed to do.
Oh, yeah, no, I know people they've had higher doses, and they're like, yeah, I couldn't function.
I was
had
a
to go
fucking
back.
zombie. Yeah, like, they put me on Ativan and Klonopin at the same time. And Klonopin, I can't remember exactly what that one does, but Ativan was a anti-stress, anti-anxiety medication, and my grandma was on that on her deathbed to keep her calm. And I was a 18-year-old going to college, and I went to the what do you call that, health facilities, and I went to the nurse and I talked one day because I was feeling like shit. I was going to school and things weren't going my way, blah blah blah, like typical college kid, and I asked for some help, and they put me on all these drugs, and that really helped. I ended up leaving Kent within the next semester or two. Yeah, so it's one of those things, like, those psychotropic drugs definitely can help, but they need to be regulated so well to help.
They do. And then they need to be re-regulated, because even once you get set on them, you can go through ups and downs where you end up realizing that your dose isn't doing what it's supposed to do. Whether you need a higher dose or a lower dose depends on the person.
Exactly.
You can actually come back to a point where you are self-regulated. Your body's doing what it's supposed to do, in which case you need to be weaned off of your drug, whatever they're giving you, so you don't go through like crazy swings. There is one other point that I would like to make about this, though.
Yes.
And it's the fact that we have spent, since 9/11, we have spent all of our times talking about Muslims and recently the Mexicans who are coming up from the border. I would like to point out that almost all of our mass shootings are done by white males.
Us fucking Caucasians are goddamn fucking insane, dude.
Those people from those shithole countries.
Yes.
Those are the ones we need to watch out for. Not the crazy white people with the guns.
I think America forgets how much fucking trailer trash we got. Like, white trailer trash.
Yeah.
Like, and that does not mean if you live in a trailer, you're trailer trash.
No.
Sorry, don't mean to offend anybody, but no, like, white people, stereotypical, like, just dumpster people.
Right.
There's too many of us. Like, there are I probably know more shitty Caucasians than I do people of other races.
I agree. I would definitely agree with that. In the past, I have worked with some of them, so I very much agree with that. It's a trend that's not particularly flattering, but it's also an uncomfortable trend that most people don't want to acknowledge. But it's a truth.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to acknowledge the truth, then it's going to continue to happen.
Oh, yeah. Like, I greatly acknowledge that my race as a Caucasian male is fucking racist, and I hate it.
Well, so that's another thing. Literally everyone on the planet is racist.
Oh,
I don't care who you are. And there are different degrees of racism.
Mm-hmm.
You can be, I'm going to tie someone up to a tree and beat them to death racist, which I assume that most of us would understand that is wrong.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be that racist.
Yeah, lynching's bad.
But at the same time, if you're, let's say you're an Asian person and you only want to date Asian people, that is a form of racism, although it is acceptable. It is not like you're a terrible person because of it, but it is it's an acceptable thing, but it is in and of itself racist.
And on a animal and human instinctual level, you're trained to be racist. Like, okay, if I am a mouse and I see a snake come along and eat one of my babies, am I going to be afraid of every other goddamn snake that comes around? You fucking bet you, because I just saw it eat one of my babies.
Right.
So, unfortunately...
There are instinctual things. There are social things that you learn through various interactions. And some people are able to break out of those social interactions and realize that there's more to the world than what they're immediately seeing.
Exactly. And I mean, so there's definitely... Yes, it's understood to judge a book by its cover, but you should not take that first sudden gut instinctual judgment to heart.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely not. Like, anybody can...
Unless you spend time with the book or spend time with the person to understand what's going on inside, you can't really know the full story.
Yeah, I guess take note of whatever that feeling is, but don't accept it.
Right, yes. No, you need to take a look through it and compare what that feeling is to what's actually going on. And it could just be as simple as what they're going through in life puts off a different vibe than the type of person that they are.
And that's very true. I mean, I know how that could be for me. Like, I might seem like one type of person, and then people are like, wait, you're a geek, you're this, you're that.
Right.
Or I could seem like a geek and whatnot, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden go for a hike and go fishing one day. Wait, like, you like to fish, you like outside, you don't just like video games because you're a geek?
I can't tell you how many times I've heard I didn't expect that from you. Well, what did you expect? I'm not sure. Well, then why are you judging before you got the chance to figure out what was going on there?
Expectations will always ruin your day at the end of the day if you keep them.
Yeah, just because we do one thing at work doesn't mean that's what I do at home. And just because I do one thing at home doesn't mean I'm not interested in doing other things. There are people like me who want to go out and do different things, but we don't really like to go out. If you have people who force you to go out, then you go and experience those different things that you want to do anyways. You just enjoy doing them in groups because you don't like doing it alone.
Exactly. And then there is a thing to that social interaction.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, I like both sides of backpacking. I know people who don't like to go out backpacking by themselves on solo trips. I love it. I'm pagan. I love going out there. I love doing like a little ritual in the middle of the night. Sitting around a fire, collecting my thoughts, writing in my trail journal, blah, blah, blah. I find myself entertained. I find it to be a good time. But I know people who rather go out there with other people. And yeah, it's great going out there with other people, kicking around a fire, telling some jokes, stories, doing whatever, bullshitting. But there's definitely situations where people around you make things better.
Oh, definitely. If you want to talk about another type of social interaction here, there was LeBron James, Cleveland Cavalier, made a comment about President Trump in regards to the fact that he likes to say a lot of things. And generally, we probably shouldn't take him or any of his words seriously. And go figure, Fox News took issue with it. The quote from the Fox News anchor, here, I'll read this one for you because I don't want to screw this up. Talking about LeBron James, the anchor says, "Must they run their mouths like that? This is what happens when you attempt to leave high school a year early to join the NBA. Keep the political commentary to yourself, or as someone once said, shut up and dribble."
Yeah, see, that's just uncalled for. Now, read for our audience what LeBron James's comment was, just to show it wasn't outlandish.
So here's LeBron James. The comment that they have in this article is, "The number one job in America, the point of person, is someone who doesn't understand the people and really don't give a fuck about the people." James also said, "While we can't change what comes out of that man's mouths, we can continue to alert the people that watch us, that listen to us, that this is not the way."
Yeah, and okay, so grammatically, was that 100% correct? No, I don't fucking type grammatically correct.
I don't even speak grammatically correct.
Yeah, no, I'm fairly intelligent. I don't. I went through all 4 years of college. I didn't drop out to join the NBA, and I fucking talk like that. I write like that. But apparently, that's intellectual.
Well, the issue here is that if you're not a news anchor, you shouldn't have a political view. And I want everyone who listens to this at any point in time, if you are a person, a human being living on this planet, I don't give a fuck what country you're in, you better have a fucking view on an opinion on what's going on, a political opinion, because those political opinions are what's going to help shape what continues. Whether it's gun regulation that we were just talking about, whether it's the craziness of our president, or, it's the social commentary in the Black Panther movie. Whatever it is, you should have a political view. I don't care if you're an NBA player, a YouTuber, a movie star, a fucking fifth grader. I don't give a shit. Have an opinion and understand what's going on in the world.
Exactly. And, I mean, in today's day and age, the popularity of movie stars, of sports players, I was going to say basketball players, but anybody in sports, of musicians, like people give.
I can't tell you how many musicians influence me personally, because that's one of those mediums that I enjoy so much.
Yeah, I mean, so many people give Bono and U2 so much shit about talking and preaching to the crowd, but if you were on that platform and you can do what they're doing, drawing millions of people to come see them, God damn, you better be trying to change something in this world for the better and make the world a better place, because you're going to be the people who can do it. People are looking up to you. People look up to LeBron James. People look up to all these other people, and they're going to be the ones to be able to convince people to go out there and vote. Like, that's the key. If you want to make a difference, obviously the top down hasn't been working for a long time now. We need to make a difference on a local level. Start building up things in our local communities, in our villages, our townships, our cities, all the way up to our state.
Yeah. Well, 2 points to that. One, to continue what you were saying, Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine, and oh god, why did I just blank on the new band? Prophets of Rage. That's what I'm looking for, and numerous other bands. He's a guitarist, and he's been doing political music for a long time. A lot of the music that he's been part of, starting with Rage Against the Machine, is very political. And he's come out and said on numerous times, if you're gonna write music that's just about nothing, then why are you wasting our time? Like, write something that is meaningful. And for him, it was fighting back against injustice originally. I mean, that's what it is. That's what he's been doing. But I mean, at the same time, writing songs that help with depression or help with other anxiety issues and things like that are also important. But if you're writing about nothing, then you're really just wasting everyone's time.
But Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. That is all.
Yes. And then to the other point with that is you have people like Drake and Akon. Drake just they put out a video called God's Plan, but he just gave a ton of money to people in Florida. They're going to there's a scholarship for University of Miami and a bunch of other stuff. I guess he was giving out all kinds of stuff down there. He bought them a new travel bus or something for transportation and stuff like that down there. Akon, who put together millions of dollars worth of solar panels and stuff in Africa, or it was either solar panels or irrigation or something, like plumbing or something. He did something, and whatever it was incredible. But we often don't talk about those things.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny you bring up Drake. Just ironic, a man who made his beginning to his life in the media on a show, Degrassi, where he was a victim of a school shooting.
Yeah, there you go. I honestly didn't know that. I remember him being on. I remember hearing about him being on Degrassi because I never watched it, but I did not know it was a victim of a school shooting.
Yeah, he got shot before
circle.
The kid went and killed himself, and Drake got shot, and he was in a wheelchair for the last, I don't know how many seasons of Degrassi, because that show just went on and on and on.
Yeah, I think it's still going on, actually.
Oh, yeah, no.
Redoing it or something.
Well, the next generation, Degrassi, the next generation, apparently, this shit started in the 80s.
Okay.
Degrassi's been going on for a long time. They just keep recycling people.
Gotcha. But yeah, those are all amazing things, and they're making differences, and they're putting their money where their mouths are, where they're saying, let's do something, and they're doing it.
Yeah, at least they're doing, their music might not be doing it, but at least the money they're making off that music, they're trying to make a difference with.
Yeah. I guess we'll continue on this particular thread before we jump off to another one. People like directors are making movies, and I said Black Panther earlier for a reason. There's a lot of social commentary in that movie because it is an African superhero in an African country talking about people with African descent. And they talk about, they bring it back to the U.S. because that's essentially their market is going to be in the U.S. So they bring back what's happening in the U.S. In the movie. And some people are uncomfortable with this, and they think that we should keep our politics out of our superhero movies. But our superheroes have been political. The modern superheroes have been political since their birth. Captain America was a propaganda machine for World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Superman, it fights for the truth, justice, and the American way. That in and of itself is political. The Green Lanterns are a police force that go throughout the galaxy or universe, enforcing their rule, enforcing the correct rules, don't murder, steal, and whatnot, doing the right thing, but they're enforcing that on all these other planets. You have, and my favorite one, the X-Men. The X-Men have been incredibly popular, and now they have a TV show, they're getting spin-off movies now and stuff. They were made as the civil rights movement was going on. Magneto was essentially Malcolm X. Professor Xavier was MLK, was Martin Luther King. The violent version of civil rights versus the non-violent version of civil rights. And we were talking about mutant civil rights.
People don't like the euphemisms. And no matter what, the euphemisms are going to be there. I mean, all these are allegories. It's all allegories. There's no different from Animal Farm. It's just the same.
People with the Black Panther movie feel uncomfortable watching it. And my question to you is, why do you feel uncomfortable? Are you feeling uncomfortable because you see these things in your day-to-day life, even whether it's on the news or in person, and you don't do anything about it? Or are you feeling uncomfortable because your way of life is being challenged? Yeah. What you see to be true, it's continually being challenged, and now it's coming to you in the form of superhero movies, where you've seen it in NFL, and now you're seeing it in superhero movies, and you've seen it in other things, that you enjoy. If your way of life is being challenged, is that why you're feeling uncomfortable? And if it is, you need to take stock in what's going on in your life.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one thing for sure that relates to recovery for me. Like, you got to think about in recovery, like, if I'm not feeling a good way and uncomfortable, why am I feeling that way? And what can I do to change about that? And usually it's something you got to change about yourself. It's never, Sally over there is doing the wrong thing, or Edward over there, I don't like what he did. Well, I don't got to like what he did, but I got to be okay with he's going to do what he's going to do.
You can only control yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be able to understand what's happening with yourself, because that's literally the only thing you can control. You can't control any other number of things.
If you're going to be uncomfortable about it, you got to change that in yourself, because nothing else will.
Like I said, we can rotate this into the Olympics. I know a great way of doing that. Continuing you're doing this, you shouldn't have political views. The Trump supporters who were trolling Lindsey Vonn, she basically kind of gave them all an FU through Twitter. And then you have a number of people who were, whether it's the gay athletes or the gay athletes who won't meet with Pence because he's very anti-gay. Or
how about Pence, real quick? The guy who says that, you should leave your politics out of sports. And who cares about, or you should stand at the national anthem, blah, blah, blah. He didn't stand at a couple of those countries when they came out at the Olympics.
Yeah.
He stayed seated.
Yeah.
How about you keep them politics out of them sports there, Pence?
Right. How un-American is that?
Stand up for your country. Your country's out there competing against other countries in a peaceful way. Like, fucking North Korea and South Korea are cooperating right now.
Like, they're walking in together and having, like, they're language barriers, but they're trying to communicate and, like, get to know each other for, like, the 2 weeks that they can.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, things are being broken on a global level. Like, peace is there right now.
But yet America's going, fuck them, isolationist over here.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Build our wall.
I love this country, but I can't say I love everything going on in it.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a difficult thing to do. It's the separation of the various things that are happening that make you like, okay, I am proud of who I am and where I am from. But then yet again, you're seeing the injustices or the isolationists or the wall. Nobody was born on this continent.
Yeah, no, I'm literally just a second generation American. About a second, 1.5. My grandma was born here, but her parents were not.
I know my dad's mom came over, so there's that side, but my mom's side is very ingrained in the U.S., and I'm sure we'll get into that in a later episode, because I would be interested to have more of that conversation with you on its own podcast. I feel like it would be its own thing.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot to go with that conversation.
Oh yeah, there's
from my
very
regard.
interesting. My grandpa's done some amazing things to make his way from a Russian concentration camp to the United States. Not sure of all those steps that he didn't make it, but yeah, he was captured. He was German, and he was captured by the Russians.
Mind you, that those countries, if that was all happening now, Trump would be looking at those countries and telling you those are shithole countries. I mean, even Elon Musk, he's from South Africa. He's pushing technology further than ever before. He lives in the U.S. now. He's doing a lot of his stuff here. But that you would consider Africa, most African nations, those shithole countries that Trump likes to refer to them as.
I mean, I guess he comes from a shithole.
Maybe.
Came up from the bottom. Now I'm here.
No, it's on
Is
top.
that how that goes?
Well,
He came up from the bottom. Now on top.
He's actually going beyond the top. He's going to space.
Yeah, I mean, his car is flying around this galaxy.
It is. It's actually
Literally.
running the Rainbow Road right now.
Yes. Oh, that was one of the best memes I've seen. But yeah, so someone who came from a shithole now has a car driving on the actual Rainbow Road in space.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Look at that. We wrapped our politicalness into our video games.
Yes, I mean, it just brings it all full
all-
circle. We're geeks with issues, and we have a political opinion.
Right.
Imagine that.
It's amazing. It's amazing
Geeks.
that we can actually think of something beyond video games.
I know. It's
I don't know how we manage this.
it's mind-blowing. It's boggling. It's a conundrum.
It is.
However many
Perplexing?
words you can... Perplexing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want to throw out onomatopoeia, but that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It's just a cool word. And we're
It's,
coming up with cool words, so I
from
wanted
other,
to throw it in
from
there.
other videos.
Yeah, but bam. There we go. I worked it in there.
There.
But nonetheless, there's our semi-political rant, which is actually more political than I think semi.
Yeah.
But we'll let
I mean,
you
it may
decide.
actually fit in a semi.
Oh, it could fit in a semi. I mean, it's about 45 minutes long. I don't know how long a semi is time-wise, but we might have to measure
Because of
that
how fast
one
it's
day.
going.
Ah, yes, theory of relativity. So, yeah, we're geeks. We have issues. We have opinions. What are your guys' opinions? What do you think of this? What do you think of some of the topics that we talked about today?
Yeah.
Write us. Leave us a comment. Give us a like. Subscribe. And hopefully we hear from you later and you listen to us again. Until then, this is Geeks with Issues and Geeks with the Podcast. Issue number 2.
Later.
Bye.